Russia-Ukraine relations refers to the relations between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. Currently, the two countries are engaged in the Russo-Ukrainian War, which started in 2014 following Russian annexation of Crimea from Ukraine. The modern bilateral relationship between the Russian Federation and Ukraine formally started during World War I as the former Russian Empire was going through its political reform. In 1920, the bilateral relationship between two countries was changed as Ukraine was conquered by the Russian Red Army and Polish Army. In 1990s, immediately upon the dissolution of the Soviet Union, of which both Soviet Russia and Soviet Ukraine had been formally founding constituent republics, bilateral relations were revived. Relations between the two countries have severely fallen apart since the 2014 Ukrainian Revolution, followed by Russia's annexation of Crimea from Ukraine, and over Russia's backing for the separatists fighters of the Donetsk People's Republic and the Luhansk People's Republic in a war that by early 2020 had killed more than 13,000 people and brought Western sanctions on Russia. Interactions between the two areas of Russia and Ukraine developed on a formal basis from the 17th century, but international-level relations ceased when Catherine the Great liquidated the autonomy of the Cossack Hetmanate in 1764. For a short period of time soon after the communist 1917 October Revolution, the two states interacted again. In 1920, Soviet-Russian forces overran Ukraine and relations between the two states transitioned from international to internal ones within the Soviet Union. Founded in 1922, after the Soviet Union's dissolution in 1991, Ukraine has undergone periods of ties, tensions, and outright hostility from Russia. Prior to Euromaidan, under President of Ukraine Viktor Yanukovych, relations were cooperative, with various trade agreements in place. On 1 March 2014, the Federation Council of the Russian Federal Assembly voted unanimously to allow the President of Russia enter the Russian armed forces on territory of Ukraine. On 3 March 2014, the Russian representative to the United Nations, Vitaly Churkin, showed a letter signed by former Ukrainian President Yanukovych on 1 March 2014 and addressed to President of the Russian Federation Vladimir Putin with a request to enter the Russian armed forces on territory of Ukraine. During the February to March 2014 Crimean crisis, Ukraine lost control of its government buildings, airports and military bases in Crimea to unmarked soldiers and local pro-Russian militias. This started on 27 February when unmarked armed men seized the Crimean parliamentary building. The same day the Crimean parliament replaced the local government with one who wanted Crimean unification with Russia. This government organized the 2014 Crimean status referendum on 14 March 2014 in which the voters voted overwhelmingly to join Russia. On 17 March 2014, Crimea declared its independence. On 18 March 2014, a treaty on incorporating Crimea and Sevastopol into Russia was signed in Moscow, and in 5 days, the constitutional law on admitting to the Russian Federation the Republic of Crimea and establishing within the Russian Federation the new constituent entities the Republic of Crimea and the city of federal importance Sevastopol was quickly pushed through the Russian parliament, signed by the Russian president and entered into force. On 19 March 2014, all armed forces of Ukraine are withdrawn from Crimea. On 17 April 2014, President Putin stated that the Russian military had backed Crimean separatist militias, stating that Russia's intervention was necessary to ensure proper conditions for the people of Crimea to be able to freely express their will. Throughout March and April 2014, pro-Russian unrest spread in Ukraine, with pro-Russian groups proclaiming People's Republics in the oblasts of Donetsk and Luhansk. As of 2017, both partially outside the control of the Ukrainian government. In response, Ukraine initiated multiple international court litigations against Russia, as well as suspending all types of military cooperation and military exports. Many countries and international organizations applied sanctions against the Russian Federation and against Ukrainian citizens involved in and responsible for the escalation. Military clashes between pro-Russian rebels and the Ukrainian armed forces began in the east of Ukraine in April 2014. On the 5th of September 2014, the Ukrainian government and representatives of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic and the Luhansk People's Republic signed a tentative truce. The ceasefire imploded amidst intense new fighting in January 2015. A new ceasefire agreement has operated since mid-February 2015. But this agreement also failed to stop the fighting. In January 2018, the Verkhovna Rada passed a law defining areas seized by the Donetsk People's Republic and the Luhansk People's Republic as temporarily occupied by RU.